Hey guys, welcome to the vlog. It's like just one more week until Black Friday, and of course we're all interested in new gear as music producers, gear that we just need to make our music, gear that we just buy because we love gear. And Black Friday and Christmas is like the best time to do so. Today's video is about all of the essentials every music producer needs, like gadgets and gear. There will be a dedicated video for plugins in the coming days.
Diamonds dripping down, precious metals on a slow descent. Hard to articulate, don't enunciate, but I know you're waiting for it.
Let's start with the fun stuff. This right here is my first gadget. It's a portable guitar. This one was fun, by a company called Jammy. It's a MIDI USB controlled guitar. And I absolutely love these kind of things that give you new possibilities and have a new approach to something that we're so used to. Very satisfying. I just opened Logic and like it detects like all of the chords. Let's select an instrument. It's kind of funky. I can play any synthesizer, any kind of plugin that I own via MIDI and have like a sort of guitar feel. It's of course not 100% like a real guitar. That's a fun toy, to be honest, and like gives you a new approach to music making. Wow. Okay, that's really cool. That's fun. That's definitely fun. I will keep on testing it out. I have to get used to it, but I will, by the way, link all of the gadgets down below in the description if you're interested. So the first one is this MIDI guitar. Let's get to the next one that is like a bare essential. Without it, you can't make any music. So here in the A Studio, we of course got the big speakers, like huge speakers. These speakers are bigger than me, but this is not something you might look into buying when you're starting out making music, because these are like 10,000 euros almost. So let me show you something that is actually affordable. These right here, for example, the Atom A5X are pretty good if you're on a budget and still need quality. But I have to be honest, if you really seriously want to produce music, I would rather go one level up. For example, the Eve ones, SC407. I mean, they're already above 1,000, but that's a pair of speakers that you buy and have for life. There's nothing else you will ever have to buy and get. This is like really perfect. I can also recommend to you the Yamaha HS80M. These are like the typical entry-level speakers. You will be able to make any kind of music with them. I think I have a pair of them upstairs. These right here, these are the Yamaha HS80M, the old version. They're now available as HS8M, are improved a little. You can get the pair for like 400 euros. They have an 8-inch woofer that produces enough bass for you. And I've produced with them for 8 years and they never failed. I could make all of my music with it, start my career, make money, and eventually get the big speakers. One last recommendation, even if you're on a budget, don't go for a speaker that has a smaller woofer than 8-inch, especially not if you're making pop music, EDM, or any kind of hip-hop, urban music, because you need to be able to hear the low end. You will just screw up your mix if you can't hear what you're doing below 80 Hertz. The next essential is of course the sound card. It's not that important if you just work in the box and just make music and use samples and synthesizers and this kind of stuff, because then honestly you can just plug into your computer over the sound card that is built in. But if you want to record, you definitely need a proper audio interface. There's a really good one by Focusrite, an entry-level one. It's the most inexpensive, best quality you can get. I used to have it in the studio and then eventually upgrade it to this one right here. That's the Claret 8 Pre with 8 inputs and 8 outputs, or even more, to headphone ins. And you can dim and mute, and it's like really good quality. But again, if you just record vocals, a guitar, save your money and get the the entry-level version with 2 ins, 2 outs. Another card I could really highly recommend is the one I'm using here in the B Studio. That's the Audio Fuse. Has 2 ins, 2 headphone outs, 2 speaker outputs, so you can have 2 sets of speakers and switch between them, A and B. And it's at the same time a monitor controller, so you can talk back to the singer in the vocal booth or over headphones, and you can like dial in everything on top of it. You don't have to use software, so it's a lot faster, especially if you have talent that you record. It's really annoying to go through the software and try to set things up. Then there's outboard gear. Forget about it. If you're just starting out, it's not an essential. Just wanted to point that out. We basically just use it to run things from the vocal booth through the preamps, because that's actually making a difference, but a tiny one, and it's only recommended if you record vocals regularly. I think you can 100% get away without getting any outboard stuff. So save your money, save it for the essentials. And the next essential are definitely headphones. My favorite ones and like the standard for studios are these, the Beyerdynamics DT7070 Pro. Depending on what you need, choose the right ohm size. These are 80 ohms, and we use them because they isolate really well. I like half of what I'm talking, I can't hear it anymore. So they isolate pretty good, and they're perfect to record a singer and make sure that there is no bleed reaching the microphone. I wouldn't recommend them necessarily for mixing, because for mixing you actually need open headphones. These right here are my favorite ones by Olo Audio. It's a small company, they're like handmade and sound extremely like flat, linear, and are a joy to work with. If you have to work with headphones and you have to mix with them, I would recommend these. They also have a closed version, so if you're on an airplane and don't want anyone to listen to your music that you produce, they're definitely a good choice. While we're already in the vocal booth, let's get to microphones, another essential. If you record yourself singing, guitar playing, or anything else, maybe some effects, maybe some Foley sounds, you will need a mic. And after your source, your talent, the second most important step in the chain, I got here an Aston mic that is really nice, but around like 400. And like it has a vintage sound to it. I can recommend it if you have the money, but there are actually 2 microphones I have that are way better bang for the buck for beginners. First right here, the Shure SM7B. If you need like a bassier kind of vocal, it's the mic that was used for Michael Jackson for his most successful album. It's the one all of the people use for podcasts, and it's also good for singing. Depending on the voice, I would say it's like a specialized voice singing microphone. Not that good actually for instruments. If you really want to save money, buy something like this, the AKG Perception 220. It's very inexpensive. It usually comes in a set, so you don't end up having any shake and rumble in the mic. It can basically record anything, and everything sounds good that you record through it. So this was my first mic. I used it for the first 5-6 years exclusively, made all of my songs with it, and yeah, I actually like never had any problem with it. Next up, that can be quite annoying if you try to find it. These little adapters, every studio needs a ton of them. I have in every room like at least 4 or 5. And then of course all of the other cables, specialized microphone cables, guitar cables, XLR cables for microphones. I will link them all down below, like budget versions that are good enough but that won't break like the second you use them. And then cables to go from the sound card to the speaker, depending on what like input your speaker has. Again, don't buy the very expensive one. For example, here we have like this cable is a couple €100. It's like cotton, all surrounded and like golden and copper inside, and very high quality. Yes, it makes a tiny difference. It's not really worth the money, especially not at the beginning. Just focus on the essentials. Another one would definitely be speaker stands. There's no way you can have a speaker that it's worth a couple of €100 and just leave it on the desk. Yes, these small ones, because they're like the B speakers, but still we isolate them at least a little. And the big, more expensive speakers are on stands. Make sure to have enough room to the back wall, enough room to your desktop, the screen not in front of it. Don't underestimate this. There are stands already available for like 30-40 bucks a pair, and it will make a huge difference. If you leave your speakers on the desk, it will ruin like all of the money you spend for the speaker. So don't be cheap when it comes to these essential things that make the sound of the speaker better. I even made a test video years ago comparing a speaker standing on a stand and standing on a desk, and the difference is like huge. Even recorded through the camera mic, you can hear the difference. Another one right here, it's a little dirty. I can't even believe that I'm touching this, but it's a sustain pedal. Get one. It makes your playing so much better, especially if you play like chords, more ballad kind of style of music, and just being able to hit it and make the notes sustain and not having to do it in software is really nice. You can also hook this up to your monitor controller, and by tapping it, you can open the mic for the talkback to the vocal booth to your talent to communicate with them and still have both hands free. I should actually get a second one for that. Yeah. So you see, I'm also already buying some new gear. There's always a reason to buy new gear. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. Like, no matter how much money I earn, it's all spent on gear. Always broke. Always. Well, let's continue. Let's make sure you also will be broke in a couple of weeks. Another essential is definitely USB sticks. You can't have enough of them. I will put my favorite one down below in the description. It's a very, very small one. It's so small it's not even worth like trying to show it to you. It's a USB type normal, like the normal USB 3 on one side, and on the other USB-C, so I can connect it to my MacBook. That just doesn't have any other connection, unfortunately. And the last part, it's a little annoying that I have to say it, and you all won't like it, but it's just true, is the acoustic treatment of your studio. You can have the best sound card, the best guitar, the best talent, the best speakers, the stand and everything, but if your room sounds like shit, it's impossible to hear what you're actually producing. Room acoustic is very expensive. There are no real options you can buy online, maybe some foam, but I don't recommend like the black foam. We just used it here on the door for isolation purposes to the vocal booth. But usually I would recommend you to DIY if you have the time and patience. For example, here we took an IKEA bookshelf, put a lot of absorbing material in it, put the fabric around, and made something for like 30-40 bucks. That is pretty huge and covers a huge frequency range because it's really deep. I will link at the end of this video the video where I made them and how I made them and how much I spent and everything. It's an old video, so don't expect high quality, but the information is still valid and in there. When it comes to diffusion, my recommendation is just buy it. I built that one with 2 interns for like half a year, sanding and gluing every single day. It's a pain. It's not worth it. Just buy it. I'll link some of them down below. Also some of the thinner absorbing material stuff that is good for your studio. I will also get some of these actually for the ceiling, because that's the only thing that is not treated here in the studio. And I think that's it. That's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you actually want to get, what you think are essentials for music producers. I hope I covered everything. If I forgot anything, let me know about it. And happy shopping, like Black Friday, just one more week. And then of course the entire Christmas phase. Just getting some new gear, some inspiration, some fun for making even better music. Thanks a lot for watching. See you tomorrow again. Another vlog here in the studio. Trying to fix the A studio. It's still under construction, so yeah, just give me like 2-3 more weeks.
It's too dangerous to give away. In my mind they'll stay.